So we'll discuss the OSCE part now, OSCE examination. So the first image is, you can see how will you describe this chest X-ray. Diagnosis, it is consolidation of the right lung. So for describing this, you will say this is PA view of the chest showing a sharply defined triangular homogeneous opacity, involving the right upper and mid zone. So this is PA view of the chest showing sharply demarcated triangular homogeneous opacity involving the right upper and mid zone, Then trachea, you see the trachea and the apex beat. Trachea and the apex are in normal position. Both the costophrenic angles are clear. Trachea and the apex are in normal position. Other structures are within normal limit. Air bronchogram is not clearly seen here. There is no loss of lung volume. So it is a POV of the chest showing a sharply defined triangular homogeneous opacity involving the right upper and middle zone, and trachea and the apex are in normal position. Other structures are within normal limit. Air bronchogram is not clearly seen and there is no loss of lung volume. So this is the how you will give the description of this chest X-ray. Then what is your conclusion? Conclusion is it is the consolidation of the right lung. So it was a homogeneous opacity involving the right upper and upper mid zone, and the conclusion is it is the consolidation of the right lung. Then which lobe of the right lung is involved? Then you will say, which, if they ask which lobe of the right lung is involved, then you will say it needs a lateral X-ray film to diagnose. It is expected that right upper lobe has been affected. So then the question can arise that what are the differential diagnoses of this chest X-ray? Then the differential diagnosis could be collapse of the lung. First differential, it could be collapse. Then in collapse of the lung, the mediastinum moves to the diseased site and the air bronchogram will be absent. So absent air bronchogram with mediastinal shift to the same side, that indicates the collapse. It is one of the differentials of this X-ray. Then bronchogenic carcinoma. In bronchogenic carcinoma, there will be pleural reaction and pleural effusion is commonly seen, and the absence of air bronchogram will be there, and there may be presence of rib erosions. So differential diagnosis could be bronchogenic carcinoma, but in bronchogenic carcinoma you can find the pleural effusion is commonly seen and absence of air bronchogram, and there may be presence of rib erosion as well if you are suspecting the bronchogenic carcinoma. So this is another differential of this X-ray. Then third differential could be pulmonary tuberculosis. Pulmonary tuberculosis classically have sharply defined consolidation is rare. In pulmonary tuberculosis. Pleural reaction is more common. So another differential could be tuberculosis. Then fourth question is pulmonary infarction. Can be the differential diagnosis is pulmonary infarction. May be a possibility because in pulmonary infarction, wedge-shaped homogeneous poorly defined opacity is produced. Attached against the pleura, thus blunting of costophrenic angle is commonly seen here. So another differential could be your pulmonary infarction. So what are the differential for this chest X-ray? It could be collapse of the lung, it could be bronchogenic carcinoma, it could be tuberculosis, or it could be pulmonary infarction. If you are suspecting collapse, then mediastinum should shift to the same side and the absent air bronchogram should be there. In bronchogenic carcinoma also absent air bronchogram should be there, and in bronchogenic carcinoma there is reactionary pleural effusion occurs. Then also there will be erosions in bronchogenic carcinoma. And if you are suspecting pulmonary tuberculosis, classically it has the It lacks the sharply defined consolidation, is rare in tuberculosis. It is not so sharply defined consolidation. Chloride reaction is more common in TB. In pulmonary infarction, it is possibility there is a wedge-shaped homogeneous poorly defined obesity again, and it is against the pleura. Thus blunting of the costochondrium is commonly seen here. So these are the differential. Collapse. This X-ray has a differential of collapse, bronchogenic carcinoma, tuberculosis, pulmonary infarction. Pulmonary infarction you have to keep in mind. Then what is, they can ask you the question, what is air bronchogram? What is air bronchogram? So air bronchogram, the bronchus contains air and the air is not visible separately in a normal chest X-ray. So normally the bronchus contains air and this air is not visible if in a normal chest X-ray. But in consolidation, what happens in consolidation of the lung, or we can say pneumonia, the air within the bronchus casts linear translucency. That air within the bronchus casts linear translucency, that is they appear black over the background of homogeneous opacity, that is consolidation. So what is air bronchogram? In consolidation of the lung, the air within the bronchus casts linear translucency. Air within the bronchus casts linear translucency and which appears black over the background of homogeneous opacity. Linear translucency over background of homogeneous opacity, that is consolidation. So it causes linear translucency. So this is air bronchogram. Air bronchogram, they are commonly seen as scattered linear translucency rather than continuous branching structure. They are seen as scattered linear translucency rather than continuous branching structure. Air bronchogram reflects that an opacity is intrapulmonary. So what does it signify? It signifies the air bronchogram reflects that the opacity is intrapulmonary, the problem within the lungs, intrapulmonary. It is seen in consolidation. So what are the conditions in which you get the air bronchogram? So causes of air bronchogram could be the consolidation, you will get in consolidation. Then you will get it in pulmonary edema, then you will get in alveolar cell carcinoma, and lastly you will get in hyaline membrane disease. So these are the differential diagnoses of air bronchogram: consolidation, pulmonary edema, alveolar cell carcinoma, and hyaline membrane disease. It needs a good quality of X-ray film, and the observer should have a bull's eye to diagnose the air bronchogram. Okay. Then they can ask what is Silhouette sign. So the next question is, what is Silhouette sign? So Silhouette sign is when two structures of same radiologic density are in the same plane. When two structures of same radiologic density are in the same plane, when two structures of same radiological density are in same plane, then the interface between the two is obliterated. And the lack of interface is known as the Silhouette sign. That is the loss of demarcation between the pulmonary shadow and the neighboring structure. For example, the right heart border is obliterated by the right middle lobe lesion in consolidation or collapse, and the left heart border is obliterated by the lesion in the lingual lobe. So right heart border is obliterated by the right middle lobe, and the left heart border is obliterated by the lingual lobe of left lung. So this is Silhouette sign. So when two structures of same radiological density are in the same plane, then the interface between the two is obliterated, and the lack of interface is known as Silhouette sign. That is, there is loss of demarcation between the pulmonary and the neighboring structure. For example, the right heart border is obliterated by the right middle lobe lesion, and the left heart border is obliterated by the lesion in the lingual lobe. What is the outstanding feature in the X-ray? This X-ray which we have seen, there is no shift of mediastinal. Note should be made that bronchopneumonia gives rise to a heterogeneous scattered patchy opacities without air bronchogram. So if it is bronchopneumonia, it will give a heterogeneous scattered patchy opacities without air bronchogram. So this was about the consolidation of the lung. Now we'll take the next X-ray. So this is next X-ray. So this is left-sided pleural effusion. So how will you describe the chest X-ray? So how will you describe the chest X-ray? Then you will say this is a PA view of the chest showing a triangular homogeneous dense opacity, showing a triangular homogeneous dense opacity on the left chest, with a curved upper border, which is concave medially and upwards and extends towards the axilla. Left costophrenic angle is obliterated while the right angle is clear. The cardiac shadow and trachea have shifted slightly towards the right. Lung fields are apparently normal. Other points are within the normal limit. In pleural effusion, the fluid collects between the two layers of pleura, that is the visceral and the parietal pleura. There is absence of air bronchogram in pleural effusion. If the curved upper border of the fluid seems convex, then you should think of loculated pleural effusion. If it is convex, then you should think of loculated pleural effusion. So what you will say again, you will describe the chest X-ray. This is POV of the chest showing a triangular homogeneous. It is triangular and it is homogeneous and it is dense. It is triangular homogeneous dense opacity on the left chest with the curved upper border which is concave medially and upward and extends towards the axilla. The left costophrenic angle is obliterated, the right costophrenic angle is normal. The cardiac shadow and the trachea have shifted slightly towards the right. The lung fields are normal. Other points are within normal limit. So in pleural effusion, fluid collects between the two layers of the pleura. You know that is the visceral and the parietal pleura. There is absence of air bronchogram. There will be absent air bronchogram in pleural effusion. If the curved border is convex, then you should think of loculated pleural effusion. So this is the description of the pleural effusion. So what is your conclusion? It is a left-sided moderate pleural effusion. Now after discussing this, now you will tell me the differential diagnosis of this chest X-ray. Tell the differential diagnosis. What are the differential diagnoses of the chest X-ray? Then you will say actually this type of opacity with concave upper border is classically seen in pleural effusion and empyema thoracis. The thickened pleura may be a close differential diagnosis, usually without any mediastinal shift unless associated with gross thickening when mediastinum is shifted to the same side. Ribs may be visible within the opacity. Opacity is not truly dense. Upper margin is fading and not concave. Bronchogenic carcinoma or consolidation with parapneumonic effusion may present underneath the effusion. Fibrosis collapse of the lung, if considered in the differential diagnosis, produce mediastinal shift to the diseased side. So what are the possible differential diagnoses you will keep in your mind? You can say that it could be empyema thoracis, then you can say it could be thickened pleura, then bronchogenic carcinoma, then consolidation, then fibrosis and collapse. So these are the differential diagnoses of the chest X-ray which has been shown, that is left-sided pleural effusion. Actually, this type of opacity which I already discussed with concave upper border is actually seen in pleural effusion and empyema thoracis. Pleural effusion, in both the conditions you can get the concave upper border. Thickened pleura may be a close differential diagnosis usually without any mediastinal shift unless associated with gross thickening when the mediastinum is shifted to the same side. Thickened pleura, you should keep in mind it is a close differential diagnosis of pleural effusion. Ribs may be visible within the opacity if there is a thickened pleura. Ribs may be visible within the opacity. That is, opacity is not truly dense in thickened pleura. The opacity will be there, but it is not dense. Upper margin is fading and not concave. If there is thickened pleura, upper margin will be fading and it is not concave. Then other differential could be bronchogenic carcinoma. Consolidation with parapneumonic effusion may be present underneath the effusion. Fibrosis or collapse of the lung, if considering the differential diagnosis, producing mediastinal shift to the same side. So these are the differentials which you keep in your mind. Empyema, thickened pleura, bronchogenic carcinoma, consolidation. Then fibrosis and collapse, if you are considering, then mediastinal shift should be there towards the same side, not to the opposite side. So this you should keep in your mind. Then they can ask one question. They can ask hemithorax opacity without any mediastinal shift. You are getting the hemithorax opacity but without mediastinal shift. Hemithorax opacity is there, but it is not causing any mediastinal shift. You are what thing you should look for. Opacity is there, but there is no midline shift. Then you should think that possibly it is a case of consolidation of the lung. In consolidation, there is no shift mediastinal. Then malignant pleural effusion due to associated absorption collapse of the lung. If there is malignant effusion with collapse of the lung, malignant effusion with collapse of the lung usually does not cause any mediastinal shift. Similarly, consolidation does not cause any shift. And lastly is the mesothelioma. Mesothelioma does not cause the shift. Mesothelioma does not cause the shift, and also thickened pleura does not cause the shift. So consolidation, malignant effusion with the with associated absorption collapse of the lung don't cause shift. Mesothelioma does not cause shift. Even thickened pleura does not cause the mediastinal shift. So these things you should keep in your mind. Then they can ask the question blunting of castophrenic angle without any fluid collection, that is superior pleural effusion. There is blunting of the castophrenic angle without any fluid collection. Then what you should think in your mind? So these are the castophrenic angles. Suppose these are blunted, but there is no fluid. So then why this shadow is coming? Then the answer could be, it could be breast shadow. It could be breast shadow that can cause the blunting of the castophrenic angle, but there is no effusion. Then it could be due to if X-ray is taken in expiration. X-ray taken in expiration. X-ray taken in expiration. That is the possibility again. Then third is basal pneumonia in the elderly. Basal pneumonia in the elderly. There is no effusion, but there is blunting of castophrenic angle. Then lastly, the thickened pleura. Thickened pleura can also cause the blunting of the castophrenic angle, but there is no fluid collection. So what are the possible causes of blunting of the castophrenic angle but there is no fluid collection? First is breast shadow, X-ray taken in expiration, basal pneumonia, thickened pleura. I repeat, BXBT. You can remember that BXBT does not cause actual fluid collection, but there is a blunting of the castophrenic angle, but there is no fluid collection, like breast shadow, X-ray taken in expiration, basal pneumonia, thickened pleura. These are the possible things you have to keep in your mind. Then question comes, what is the minimal collection for radiological detection of fluid should be there? Minimal fluid required for radiological detection. Minimal, it should be 300 ml is required. Earliest clinical detection requires 500 ml. For radiological detection, you require 300 ml. 300 ml for radiological detection, and for clinical detection minimum 500 ml. This is for clinical detection. Minimum 500 ml of fluid is required. For radiological detection 300 ml, and for clinical detection minimum 500 ml is required. Then normally a small amount of pleural fluid 5 to 15 ml is produced from the capillaries in the parietal pleura at a rate of 0.0 ml per kg per hour, which is removed by the lymphatics in the parietal pleura. So it is formed normally how much? 5 to 15 ml from the capillaries in the parietal pleura at a rate of 0.01 ml per kg per hour, and is removed by the lymphatics of the parietal pleura. So this is the normal production of small amount of production of the pleural fluid. This is the normal at a rate of 0.0 ml 1 ml per kg per hour. So earliest site of fluid collection in X-ray. So what is the earliest site? Small amount of fluid less than 50 ml is not detectable on PA view of the chest X-ray. However, a small effusion, for example 100 ml, are diagnosed earlier on the lateral X-ray film, where the fluid is collected in most dependent recesses of the pleura, the posterior costophrenic angle. A more collection, approximately 300 ml, produces the obliteration of the lateral costophrenic angle on the PA view of the chest X-ray. So minimum earliest collection is seen in the most dependent recesses of the pleura, and the costophrenic angle, the posterior costophrenic angle. So here it is collected, and it is usually detected on the lateral X-ray film. Lateral X-ray film detects 100 ml, and it is connected at the posterior costophrenic angle and the dependent recesses of pleura. Dependent recesses of pleura. So here the fluid, minimal amount of fluid collects about 100 ml and diagnosed earlier on the lateral chest X-ray film. Then they can ask you why the upper margin of the fluid goes towards the axilla in chest X-ray. Why the upper margin of fluid goes towards the axilla in chest X-ray? So you have to say it is a radiological illusion. A horizontal section of the hemithorax at the level of upper margin of the fluid shows that there is same amount of fluid present anteriorly, posteriorly, and laterally. A lateral section of the hemithorax at the level of upper margin of the fluid shows same amount of fluid collected anteriorly, posteriorly, laterally, but it is a fact that X-ray beam traverse more fluid laterally than they do centrally because of the peculiar shape of the hemithorax. So we see the curved upper margin going towards the axilla on X-ray picture. Some clinicians opine that it is due to capillary suction between the two layers of pleura which draws the fluid up. So what happens? Actually, it is a radiological occlusion. Why the upper margin of the fluid goes towards the axilla? So it is a radiological occlusion. A horizontal section taken shows that the same amount of fluid is present anteriorly, posteriorly, and laterally, but it is a fact that X-ray beam traverse more fluid laterally. X-ray beam traverse more fluid laterally than they do centrally because of the peculiar shape of the hemithorax. Because of the peculiar shape of the hemithorax, the X-ray beam traverse more laterally than they do centrally because of the peculiar shape of the hemithorax. So the upper margin, curved upper margin towards the axilla is appearing. So we see it. Then how to diagnose small pleural effusion? So very small pleural effusion. How will you diagnose? Either for US you can do for small effusions, you can go for lateral view, and you can also do the USG of the chest, ultrasonography of the chest, for detecting the small effusion, lateral X-ray view and ultrasonography. So if X-ray picture is mimicking pleural effusion but dry tap after needling, why? You are getting the X-ray, you are seeing the pleural effusion but dry tap after you are inserting the needle, then you should think of thickened pleura. Empyema thoracis, wide bore needle may be required in that case, and a mass lesion. So if you are tapping the pleural effusion patient and you are having the dry tap, then what you should think? You are thinking of dry tap, then you should think of Moss lesion. Either it is Moss lesion, or you should think of a thickened pleura, thickened pleura, or sometimes you should think of empyema thoracis, empyema thoracis. So this is the Moss lesion, thickened pleura, empyema thoracis. For empyema thoracis, you will do what? You will use a wide bore needle is required. So these are the causes of dry tap, thickened pleura, Moss lesion, and empyema thoracis. Then before that, we have more question. What are the causes of bilateral pleural effusion? So bilateral pleural effusion, I will write it here. Bilateral pleural effusion. What are the causes of bilateral pleural effusion? First is rheumatoid arthritis, you can get bilateral effusions. Systemic lupus erythematosus, you get bilateral effusion. Then lymphoma and leukemia, you get bilateral effusions. Then if there is a bilateral tuberculosis will be there. Bilateral tuberculosis, then pulmonary infarction, pulmonary infarction, then multiple pleural metastasis. Remember, hydrothorax is always usually bilateral. Hydrothorax is usually bilateral. So causes of bilateral pleural effusion is your rheumatoid arthritis, systemic lupus erythematosus, lymphoma, leukemia. Then you can have bilateral tuberculous pleural effusion, bilateral tuberculous pleural effusion. Then you could have pulmonary infarction and pleural metastasis, multiple pleural metastasis, multiple pleural metastasis. So these are the causes of bilateral pleural effusion. Then they can also ask one more question: how malignant pleural effusion is suspected? How malignant pleural effusion is suspected? Then what you will say? How malignant pleural effusion is suspected? You will say if there is a malignant effusion, there will be a convex bulge may be seen above the concave fluid level. There may be convex bulge may be seen above the concave fluid level. Collapse of the lung may be associated with, there may be absorption collapse may be associated. Trachea may be shifted to the same side due to the associated absorption collapse. Elevated hemidiaphragm indicates diaphragmatic palsies. Prominence of the hilar and parahilar shadow. Erosion of the ribs. Recurrent rapid collection. Then you should think of malignant effusion. So what are the features of malignant effusion? So I will write it here. Malignant effusion अगर हो जाए तो क्या क्या think होना? You have to think that is a convex bulge may be seen above the concave fluid level. You will find the convex bulge. Convex bulge. Then you can get the collapse, and because of collapse, trachea will be shift to the same side. Collapse you can find in malignant effusion. Convexity will be there. Then elevated hemidiaphragm may indicate the diaphragmatic palsy. So diaphragmatic palsy can lead to the elevated hemidiaphragm, elevated diaphragm. Then prominence of the hilar and parahilar shadows, erosions of the ribs, prominence of the hilar, parahilar shadows, erosion of the ribs, recurrent and rapid fluid collection. Recurrent and rapid fluid collection, you should think of malignant effusion. In this situation, the first aspirate the fluid and again take a film. So if malignant effusion is suspected, you should first aspirate the fluid and then take a film. Ultrasonography and CT scan can differentiate easy a mass from a loculated pleural effusion and pleural thickening. CT scan and ultrasound can differentiate the mass from thick loculated effusions and from the pleural thickening. So this is about the X-ray of the pleural effusion. So this is a case of describe this X-ray, then question can come describe this X-ray. Then what will you say? You will say this is a PA view of the chest X-ray which reveals increased translucency on the right side of the chest with absence of bronchiovascular markings. It reveals the increased translucency on the right side of the chest with the absence of bronchiovascular markings. A sharply defined homogeneous opacity is seen lateral to the right cardiac border, which indicates the collapse of the right lung. Both the costophrenic angles are more or less clear. Cardiac apex and trachea shadow are not shifted in the chest X-ray, probably because of the improper centering of the patient usually shifts to the opposite side to the left. The left lung field is clear and normal. Other points are within normal limit. There is absence of bronchovascular markings beyond the collapsed lung border. So to describe this X-ray, what you will see, you will say, describe this X-ray. You will say there is which reveals the increased translucency on the right side of the chest. This is increased translucency on the right side of the chest, increased translucency with absence of bronchovascular markings. The absent bronchovascular markings, increased translucency, and a sharply defined homogeneous opacity seen just lateral to the right cardiac border, which indicates the collapsed right lung. Both the costophrenic angles are more or less clear. The cardiac apex and trachea are not shifted. Then they are not shifted because of the improper centering of the patient. They are not shifted. Usually it shifts to the opposite side, at this towards the left side, but because of the improper centering they are not shifted. The lung field is clear and normal. Other points are within normal limit. There is absence of bronchovascular markings beyond the collapsed lung border. So there is absence of bronchovascular markings. So this is the description you will give. Then what is your conclusions? So my conclusion, it is right-sided pneumothorax. In a suspected case of pneumothorax, X-ray film is taken in erect position while breath hold in expiration. So you should take in erect posture and breath held in expiration. So this is ideally should taken in a suspected case of pneumothorax. So what are the types of pneumothorax you know? This is your next question. What are the types of pneumothorax you know? We have the artificial pneumothorax, traumatic pneumothorax, and we have the spontaneous pneumothorax. We have the artificial, traumatic, and spontaneous pneumothorax. Artificial, traumatic, and spontaneous pneumothorax. Spontaneous is further closed, open, and valvular. Closed, open, valvular. So artificial pneumothorax induces collapse. Then traumatic is because of the stab injury. You can get the traumatic. Then to diagnose the type of pneumothorax, then the history of onset and progress of the symptoms are the two most important determinants. To diagnose which type of, you have to ask the history of onset and the progress of the symptoms. Why tension pneumothorax is lethal to the patient? Why tension pneumothorax is lethal? Tension pneumothorax is lethal. What happened in tension pneumothorax? There is marked mediastinal shift which decreases the venous return. There is decreased cardiac output. There is marked mediastinal shift which decreases the venous return, which decreases the cardiac output. Severely compromised ventilation leads to atrial hypoxemia. Both the combination of marked mediastinal shift and severely compromised ventilation can lead to death unless tackled immediately. It is a medical emergency to the internist. So what happened? There is a marked mediastinal shift which decreases the venous rate, and in addition to that shift there is also the compromised ventilation. There is a arterial hypoxemia, so death can occur immediately unless it is tackled by the internist. So this has to remember why it is lethal, because it reduces the cardiac output and it causes the atrial hypoxemia because of the compromised ventilation. So unilateral hypertranslucency in a chest X-ray, what are your differential diagnosis? So differential diagnosis of translucency, unilateral translucency. So unilateral translucency, your differential diagnosis could be your pneumothorax. It could be pneumothorax. Then it could be bulla. It could be lung cyst. Then it could be eventration of the left lobe dome of the diaphragm. Eventration of left dome of diaphragm. Eventration of left dome of diaphragm. Then partial bronchial obstruction causing the obstructive emphysema. So these are the differential of unilateral translucency: pneumothorax, bulla, lung cyst, eventration of the left dome of the diaphragm, obstructive emphysema. So unilateral translucency, you find a pneumothorax, bulla, lung cyst, eventration of the left dome of the diaphragm, and obstructive emphysema. Pneumothorax, bulla, lung cyst, eventration of the left dome of the diaphragm, obstructive emphysema. Okay, you can remember it as lobe lobe parietal lobe. You can remember it as parietal lobe. These are the differentials for translucency unilaterally. P means pneumothorax, lung cyst, obstructive emphysema, bulla, eventration of the left dome of the diaphragm. This is the cause of unilateral translucency on a chest X-ray. Besides these, I would like to add on other causes for unilateral translucency. It could be compensatory emphysema secondary to post-lobectomy of the lung. So it could be compensatory emphysema. Other differentials of unilateral translucency, then it could be contralateral thickened pleura produces apparent increased translucency. It could be contralateral thickened pleura produces increased aberrant translucency. Then it could be mastectomy, congenital absence or atrophy, poliomyelitis or pectoralis muscle, congenital absence or atrophy of the pectoralis muscle. Then ball valve endobronchial obstruction, pulmonary thromboembolism, poor technician, for example rotation, scoliosis. In pneumothorax, always search for stigmata of tuberculosis in other lung. Also look for the tube drainage and surgical emphysema or collection of air in shaft tissue. Also search for tube drainage, surgical emphysema, tube drainage or collection of air in shaft tissue. So these are the things you have to look for.